Sadness story between Arham and Alina. It was a rainy evening when Arham first saw Alina. She stood under the old oak tree outside the college gate, holding her books close to her chest, waiting for the rain to stop. Arham offered his umbrella with a shy smile. She hesitated at first, but when he insisted, she smiled back. A small, soft smile that would later become the reason for his heartbeat. From that day on, everything began to change. Arham wasn't the type who believed in love at first sight, but Alina's kindness and innocence drew him closer. They met often, sometimes at the library, sometimes in the park nearby. Slowly, their friendship blossomed into something deeper. Alina was calm, caring, and full of dreams. She wanted to become a doctor and serve people in her small village. Arham was different, a quiet artist, lost in sketches and poetry. Where she talked about science and healing, he spoke about art and emotions. They were opposites, but somehow they fit perfectly together. They shared everything, their fears, their hopes, and even their silence. On cold winter evenings, they would walk through the streets with hot coffee in their hands, laughing about the smallest things. Arham would sketch her secretly in his notebook. When she caught him drawing her and laughed, "You'll make me look more beautiful than I am." He smiled softly, "No, I'll just draw how I see you. Perfect." But life, as always, had its own plans. After college, Alina got admission to a medical university in another city. Arham encouraged her to go, though his heart felt heavy. "It's your dream," he said, "and I'll be here, cheering for you." She promised, "Distance won't change anything between us." At first, they called each other every night. They shared their day, their laughter, their love. But as months passed, Alina got busier. Her calls became shorter, messages less frequent. Arham understood, or at least tried to. He never complained. He only said, "Take care of yourself," while hiding his tears. One evening, after 2 months of silence, Arham received a letter. It was from Alina. His heart raced as he opened it, expecting her warm words. But as he read, his hands began to shake. "Arham, I don't know how to say this, but I can't keep holding on to what we had. Life has changed, and so have I. You deserve someone who can be there for you, fully, truly. Please don't wait for me. I'll always pray for your happiness. Alina." The letter fell from his hands, and his world shattered. He read it again and again, hoping it was a mistake, but it wasn't. The rain that evening felt colder than ever. He went to the oak tree where they first met and sat there for hours, whispering her name into the wind. Days turned into months. Arham stopped painting. His friends noticed the emptiness in his eyes, but he smiled and said he was fine. Yet every night, he opened the old letter, reading it under the dim light of his room. Years passed. Arham became a known artist, his paintings full of emotion and pain. Each exhibition he held had one painting that everyone admired, a portrait of a girl under an umbrella, smiling through the rain. He never sold that painting. He never could. One day, during an art show, a woman approached him. She looked tired, her face pale, but her eyes still had that same warmth. It was Alina. For a moment, time froze. They just stared at each other, unable to speak. "Arham," she whispered, finally, "you became everything you dreamed of." "And you?" he asked softly. "I became a doctor," she said, smiling weakly, "but I'm not healthy anymore." She told him she had been diagnosed with a heart condition, something she had discovered during her studies. That was why she had left him. She didn't want him to suffer watching her fade away. "I thought leaving you would make it easier," she said, tears rolling down her cheeks, "but it only made it harder." Arham couldn't speak. He held her hands gently, as if afraid she'd disappear again. "You were never a burden. You were my reason," he whispered. For the next few months, they met often, just like before, talking, laughing, remembering. But deep down, they both knew the truth. Time was running out. One night, Alina handed him a letter. "Don't open it now," she said. "Open it when you miss me the most." A few weeks later, Arham received a call. Alina was gone. The world felt silent once more. He walked to the same oak tree, their place, and opened the letter. "Arham, if you're reading this, it means I'm not there anymore. But don't cry, please. You gave me the happiest days of my life. Promise me you'll keep painting, Keep smiling and keep loving life, because that's how I'll live in your heart forever. Alina. Tears blurred his vision, but he smiled. He looked up at the sky, whispering, "You'll always live here," placing his hand on his chest. Years later, people still visit Arham's gallery and ask about the girl in the painting. He simply says, "She was the rain in my world, and the calm after it." And every time it rains, he still walks to that old oak tree holding an umbrella, just in case she decides to come back.